Oh, Lauren, Lauren, queen of the screen. With Botox so tight, you look like a dream. But your skin's so thin, it's like tissue paper. One wrong word and poof, you're a vapor. Hey, Lauren, Lauren, toes all sore and red. From folks stepping on them, now you're crying in bed. People are mean, you wail through the night. But you swing at victims' kin, what a sight. From YouTube throne, Queen Lauren so grand. Now cast to the peasants with pitchforks in hand. You dish out the drama, true crime with flair. But cross your highness, oh beware. Family members grieving, you pounce like a cat. Claws out and hissing, imagine that. Botox can't hide that frown upside down. Your kingdom's crumbling, you're losing your crown. Hey, Lauren, Lauren, toes all sore and red. From folks stepping on them, now you're crying in bed. People are mean, you wail through the night. But you swing at victims' kin, what a sight. From YouTube throne, Queen Lauren so grand. Now cast to the peasants with pitchforks in hand. Once upon a vid, you ruled the true crime wave. Subs in the millions, oh what a rave. But thin skin and sore toes led to your fall. Now you're scrolling comments, ignored by all. Peasant life calls with no royal decree. Just Botox bills and reality TV. Hey, Lauren, Lauren, pack up your crown. The kingdom's a victim, you're heading downtown. Toes still aching, tears on your sheets. But hey, next adventure, true crime on the street. From queen to the fields with the mud and the muck. Lauren, oh Lauren, next time, better luck. Apologize, Lauren, to victims of our. Oh, Lauren, Lauren, queen of the screen. With Botox so tight, you look like a dream. But your skin's so thin, it's like tissue paper. One wrong word and poof, you're a vapor. Hey, Lauren, Lauren, toes all sore and red. From folks stepping on them, now you're crying in bed. People are mean, you wail through the night. But you swing at victims' kin, what a sight. From YouTube throne, Queen Lauren so grand. Now cast to the peasants with pitchforks in hand.
All right, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing well. I don't mind saying this. I was not thinking about a true crime live. Okay. My apologies. The reason is because I ended up doing what I had planned for today at 3. I did it yesterday and I forgot to kill this live. So you have my most sincere apologies. And it was actually Piddling Bill that came in and he said, "Do you know there's 31 people waiting on you to do a live?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" So I apologize, all of you. I care about you so much. You're really wonderful. And I got too much work going on that I'm trying to get done. So I'm very sorry. Okay. And thank you to Piddling Bill for saving my ass. Thank you. All right, everybody. Sketty Nona, so good to see you. Just another human. Sis, welcome back. I already saw Sis and Ruth Ann earlier today. He tripping on a mystery. Man, have any of you seen Foodie Beauty in the last few days? You know, I'm just going to say this. The term that comes to mind is quotation marks, tripping balls. This poor girl is, man, someone needs to help her. because she is panicking, I think. So, no, I know what you mean, Lily. I'm assuming you're talking about when John Matthias said that he would adopt Colby. You know, his family was murdered by his homicidal maniac of a mother. And you know, Matthias said something like, I would I wanna I think he said, I want to adopt you. Is that right? Did I am I maybe I'm misremembering that. Um so yeah, I felt like that was really how do I say it? Crush says, I tripped balls before. Okay, well, Foodie Beauty has been tripping balls for 3 days, Crusha, because she lost her YouTube monetization. And she buys these THC products in Canada called wheelchairs. And apparently there's something like 100, 200 milligrams of THC, like some crazy, you know, edible. And it looks like she ate the whole thing, Kresha. So no mushrooms involved. So I just watched Colby's live on 2X Speed. What happened? I haven't seen it, Ruth Ann. Can you give me a little bit of insight, just like a quick little synopsis of what it was about? I'm working on a paper right now, and so I'm trying to get that done before Christmas. And so I just thought, I got some time, let me do this. I wasn't even thinking about YouTube because I got everything on YouTube done last night, and then I did the quick one this morning. So what was it, Kresha? Somebody give me a little synopsis. So I tell you what I'll do. Well, can I do that? Let me make sure. I'm out of pocket. I'm not my normal spot. Give me just 1 second while y'all write a little synopsis. Kind of help me a bit. Let me I got to get something set up. So I'll be right back. Literally 30 seconds, okay? Hang on. Just a minute.
Talks like it's 2002. Gray baby, barely old enough to vote. Found her soulmate in a true crime Reddit post. Hidden hands, touching hands over a Dateline episode about a lady in the woods. Sipping root beer, screaming that could be us. Befriending Lori, Vallow in jail, just get her trust. You are the prairie girl of Lauren's dreams. Sister wife in the LDS scene. Mormon ghosts are nodding with approval, it seems. Dr. John said, I now pronounce you codependent. Two Karens share a bed at Amazon Prime. True crime love never felt so disordered and sublime. Ruby Frank had her vlogs and her chains. Jody had duct tape and nutritional yeast for days. Lauren's got a ring light and needles rants about boundaries.
For being kind and giving me a moment to sort of get myself together. Colby basically said HTC should not drop his name again. Colby, my heart goes out to you. And it has for a long time. Even, look, I don't know how it came to be. Like, I don't know how it happened, but for some really weird reason, I ran across Colby's channel, his YouTube channel. I don't remember. I'd have to go back in my history and look at my history, but I think it was before we really knew like it was well before he came out at one point. He made an appeal to Lori. He said, Mom, where are you? We're worried about the kids. Just talk to me. He was like trying to be logical, right? No, they made some videos long before that where it was he and his beautiful wife, and maybe she was a girlfriend at the time or something, One of them, I remember specifically, they're sitting like on the end of the bed and they're just talking, they're just having a conversation. It's just fun. And then, it all came out that the kids were missing, and we had some coverage here in Houston. The company that Charles was working for, there were a couple of ladies that came out and spoke. It was a whole thing. There was kind of this heads up before it turned into this, sea to sea, enormous, horrible mystery. Where are the kids? Where are these two crazy people? And then, we learned, we got more. We were introduced, the world was introduced to Kay and Larry Woodcock. And so, I can remember watching as Colby was making this appeal. And I just remember thinking, what a horrible, at his age, he's so young, right? What a horrible position to be in, that your family has just poofed into thin air. And the man that, had taken you under his wing and acted as dad, he's been murdered. And I just remember thinking, how do you do that? How do you do what you do to heal or to even manage what's happening, even to manage the press and all that? And I have to say, now here we are all these years later, and I have nothing but respect for Colby Ryan. And he is a warrior, and he's winning, and he may have days where he doesn't feel like he is, but showing support. And here's the critical part: do not ask anything of him, right? That's it. That is, these family members, all of the family members, Monkey Vaughn's family, all family members need to be protected. They need to be given, they need privacy, because grief is it is a minefield. It is not for the faint of heart. And I don't think that they should be on display for people, right? He has the right to go on his channel, tell his story, talk about what he experienced. He gets to make the rules. He's the victim. He gets to make the rules for what he needs. And our job is to give them that space, to give the victims, to give the family members, give them space. When they don't want to talk, we need to put a wall around them and tell the journalists, get the hell away from them. They don't want to talk. They don't want you to look at them. They don't want you to know what they're experiencing. Get away. And then when they are ready to tell their story, when they're ready to start trying to feel what a new normal might be like, then they need that support as well. But not once, not ever should a victim or family of a victim, should they ever be looked at as owing us, the public, something. Ever. Never. I can't even say that hard enough. Lauren is trying to get in with Monkey Vaughn's family. It's terrifying. Truly. So whatever Colby, just like Cresha, just like her mom and Larry, whatever Colby needs to do, whatever he wants you to hear, whatever he needs to say, to me, the rules are the same. Hands off, leave him in peace. If you can help him by buying him a coffee or sending him a super chat or just stopping other people from exploiting, then that's what you do. That's the role. If you want to be supportive of healing, then you prepare to be a protector. and keep the exploiters away from these people. So, yeah. No, St. Elmo's, I would never ever comment on anything like that. No, I won't talk about when or if I've ever been contacted by any of these victims or their family members. Never. It's not my position. If they are interested in that, that's fine. That's 100%. They make the rules. I follow their rules. And that applies to anybody. That applies to the whole Chris Watts case. Yeah, I've gotten some, you get things happen, strange things happen when you're public. Like there's nothing like, let me say this, okay? There's nothing like sitting in a courtroom and listening to an FBI agent start talking about your podcast or your live that you did as he's recounting the story that Barry Morphew told him. So Barry Morphew told the FBI agent about listening to my one of my lives and what we said on my live and how that affected what he was willing to do or not do. And I was sitting there in the courtroom when it happened. And to say that, my body kind of went cold, like in shock. I turned around and I looked, there was a friend that was sitting next to me. And I turned around and I looked at my friend and she looked at me and her eyes were huge. And she said, "Yours." I was like, oh my God. And I just put my head down. I also got weirded out one time with the Chris Watts case. Somebody did a FOIA request. I don't even remember now how it all came to pass, but somebody had done a FOIA request and they were scrolling through all the files that got, that was sent with the FOIA. And all of a sudden there was my picture. And people started sending me messages. They're like, "Did you know that you're in the, the FBI files?" And I was like, "What?" Now I have no idea why. It might've been the Nutgate video, but I don't know why. And then there was someone else, Cluminati showed where Brian Kohberger was actually watching one of her videos, I think the day before he was arrested or 2 days before he was arrested, something like that. Also, there is, what was the girl's name that did one of the very first interviews with Chris and Katie Proudfoot? She was running around with Molly Golightly and Bullhorn Betty. Oh, her mom used to travel. She's a young woman, she makes like documentaries. I'm having a brain fart. I can't think of her name. Not Vivian. What's her name? Y'all know who, don't you? She had one of the very first videos of them. Anyway. Olivia. Oh, Shannon, hugs to you. Thank you. So I'm the old lady, Shannon. Yes, hybrid. Thank you. Chronicles of Olivia. She is now engaged to Kaylee Gonsalves's brother. Yeah, exactly, Shannon. And Kaylee was subscribed to her channel. So don't make any mistake about it. I think it is just short-sightedness that if we're going to talk about these horrible things that happen in people's lives, horrible, whether we're, like John and Lauren focused on befriending the family members of those that were murdered, in the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell nightmare, they really focused on befriending people in grief, people that were living an incredible nightmare, like in any sense of the word. They were really manipulating and trying to get in with them and why? Well, here we are $3 million later. Maybe that's why, because people wanted to go watch their stories. Oh, she got the interviews no one else could get. Well, I wonder why that is, right? And then, I went really hard at Barry Morphew, and I'm glad I did. I continue to believe that Suzanne was a battered woman. Her daughter said as much. Her best friend said as much. The people in the Colorado government acknowledged that she was a victim of domestic violence. Even hiring attorneys to fight against other attorneys that were trying to make them take Suzanne Morphew's name off of the victims that had died of domestic violence. They literally went to court to be able to keep Suzanne's name on that list. That's how bad it was. Okay. So that's really, I had no idea that Colby went live today or was going to go live. I don't know what his message is. I don't % in support of him. Whatever he needs to do to heal, I am a proponent of what he needs. Whatever Kresha needs, I'm going to fight for that. Whatever Tammy Daybell's family members need, I stand in support. That's the only way to do it. This is a marathon that they're on for healing. It's not something that is, last trial over, we're done, move on. I mean, it was for Lauren and John until Lauren freaked out and started trying to manipulate the world. And then she started name dropping. She used Colby's name. She almost used his name when talking to the Officer McSnoddy in the apartment. And she caught herself. And I said, good for you, Lauren. That was definitely a moment where you demonstrated good judgment. We haven't had very many of those moments, have we? But that was a moment where she was just about to do it. And then she pulled herself back. Now, she did name drop Lori Vallow. She did, or Lori Daybell. She did name drop Chad. And Gray Baby said, oh, it's a very viral true crime story. And I'm like, no, it's not. It was the heinous brutalization of 4 people. That's what it was. It wasn't there for your enjoyment, Grayson. Let's see. Boy, did I find an HTC classic golden gem that I based tomorrow's entire live stream on from 10. Oh my God. Kresha, 2021. It is Lori Hellis and Lauren. We will absolutely be there, Kresha. Do you want to come up and talk for a minute, Kresha, or are you busy? Your choice. I was just looking to see if you had a recent live. Look at all your fans, Kresha. Yeah, 2021. I love going back in time, right? Anyone else have something about an active shooter at Brown University? I just saw it, then it disappeared. 20 people. Hey, Ageless Beauty. Good to see you. Let me take a quick peek and see if there's something about I hope there's not, to tell you the truth. 26 minutes ago on the Providence campus, Yep. They are reporting an active shooter right now. 6 people shot. Emergency responders. They're in the 200 block of State Street. Apparently, it's still going on. It just came across 3 minutes ago with the Independent in the UK that they're still responding. Does it say multiple shooters? Hold on. Students have been advised to hide, run, or evacuate in a text message sent by public safety. That is terrible. So sad. I'm so weary of this insanity. It's just craziness. Okay, so yeah, it hasn't been going on but about 25 minutes or so. It's what it looked. Maybe, well, yeah, about 25 minutes. So prayers for Rhode Island. So sad. Okay. Let's see. Looking back though, Lauren has always been a name dropper. I did a video on that whole name dropping phenomenon, the psychological part of it, why they do it, how it affects people. I flinch every time I hear people like Sleuths or Connor. Oh, Megan. Oh, I know who you're talking about. I flinch every time I hear people like Web Sleuth. That would be Trisha in her pleather. Or me again. I haven't watched new content from Lauren, but I'm sure she still does it. Oh gosh. She was doing it with the officer in Grayson's apartment. She's silly as hell. Yeah. I unsubscribed mostly because she was demanding the victims to release. What? Isabel, what are you saying, Isabel? It was Megan who is saying to release Lauren's text? Wait a minute, who's saying it? I've lived in Nevada from age 17, and what that officer said to Christina is all lies. Oh, he was a tool, no doubt. And I got to say this, okay? And Kresha, excuse me, but I got to say it. Old Gray Baby, she changed her shirt. Like one video, she's wearing a white shirt. The next video, she's wearing a different shirt. And it was the same time that she changed her shirt that Officer McSnotty's whole demeanor toward Christina changed. Now, I don't know. Maybe he was indoctrinated into the Lauren Matthias cult of, Mormon exceptionality. I don't know. But something crazy happened because we all watched Officer McSnotty say to Lauren and Gray Baby, hey, no crime committed, no crime committed, no crime committed. And then the little SOB turns around and yells at Christina. And I'm like, dude, she's the victim. So that is when we had to rechristen Officer McHottie, had to be renamed Officer McSnotty because he's clearly in the cult. All right. I like that video you did on the name dropping thing. It's a real thing in the church. They call it calling dropping. Calling dropping? Why? That doesn't even make sense to me. And I'm not really a dumb person. Calling dropping. Like does that mean like some people will say you have a calling within the church, like to maybe be a preacher or something like that? Is that what that means? Weird. Well, look, Kresha, truth here. Okay. Who brags about coming from a family that was in the North Mexico compounds, where the Romneys were. That was all about polygamy. It was all about polygamy, you guys. We did another video where we talked about that, right? Being a prophet is a calling, stake president or bishop is being a calling. So calling, dropping, I guess that would be like you're saying, oh, these important people within the church are my friends. I mean, she totally did that with Mitt Romney, didn't she? It was Trisha that was asking to see the text. Kay and Gigi have confirmed seeing. You know what, Trisha? Why don't you kiss my lily white? You have exactly zero standing, Trisha, to ask anything of Kay Woodcock, Kresha, Colby, even Gigi for that matter. At least Gigi, when she reports, when she covers these stories, she doesn't sit there and tell you exactly how long Larry Woodcock cried and how many tears fell from his face, does she? She respects their privacy. She protects their freedom to grieve. She talks only about what's going on in the courtroom. That is a hell of a lot more than I can say for that creepy Lauren that you seem to have fallen in love with. What the hell do you mean that somebody needs to drop the text? Kay Woodcock's text. Kay Woodcock doesn't know anybody a damn thing, and for damn sure, your beady little eyes are not at all entitled to see anything that she writes or thinks. Nothing. I don't know, Maria. Wow. Demanding the victims to release text of her friend talking shit about all of us. Megan turned out to be another disappointment. How dare her demand that of us? F her, just saying. And Kresha, I'm going to make an observation. Isn't Megan from the same DNA pool as Lori Daybell? I don't think I have to say anything else, right? There seems to be a lot of social climbing. And I don't know what. I don't know who is giving Trisha her marching orders, but it's looking really bad. And you have now, Trisha, honestly, you've demanded to see Kay Woodcock's private messages? What's wrong with you? God, it's incredible. It's just incredible. Same DNA as both Lori and Alex, the religious assassin. Yeah, same. Yuck. Absolutely gross. I believe it's Lauren who gives her marching orders. Ooh, that's dirty. Isn't it? Isn't that nasty? I'll envision a world, you guys, where Lauren Matthias is telling people what to do when she is the great thinker in the room. Yuck. We're going to have to move, ladies. We're going to have to move to a new continent. We cannot stand a world where Lauren is setting the standard. Please. No, 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 no. Yeah. Wow. 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 I can't even believe it. But let's see. Think there's a gem. And who's the gem? Is it a hidden gem? It's all right. You can be hidden if you want to. You don't have to hide, though. You can own it. Stand on your own 2 feet. I'm good. All right. Kresha, if you want to come up, you're absolutely invited. But please don't feel pressured. we're gonna move right on, but I don't want you to feel pressure to come up. Okay. Lauren gives Trisha marching orders. I truly think so. Plus, I heard from a trusted source that this is the case. Ugh, it's a nasty, awful thought. For example, who believes that Lauren, and we can even include John, Mr. Brilliant, right? Who believes that they have made good choices in this entire debacle? Who believes that they have made decisions to minimize damage to the victims of these horrible crimes? Nobody, right? It has gone from bad to, oh my God, when is it going to stop? That's how bad it's gotten. So, yeah, it's bad. No, the text from Lauren talking about the victims, the ones that were sent to them, made it so much worse, Lily. You know, here's the problem. Whoever it is that, thinks that it's perfectly okay to demand that people drop text. Okay. Here's my question to you. Are you really so arrogant? Well, I mean, you may be, and that may be why you continue to stand by Lauren and John, Megan, Trisha. You may be a partner in, ego, right? You may think you're smarter than everybody else. You may think that Lauren is the queen of the 144,000. You may buy into all that nonsense. But question here, okay? Who exactly is it that you're calling a liar? Who? Who is it that's saying that, Kay Woodcock should release her text messages, or Gigi should release her text messages? Or even worse, in my opinion, is this. Who is it that is saying, well, Kay and Gigi, if you guys saw Lauren's text, the bad ones, if you've seen them and you read them, release them so we can see them too, right? Here's the deal. Who exactly are you calling a liar? Who? You calling Gigi a liar? Are you calling Kay Woodcock a liar? You calling Kresha a liar? Calling Awen Reese a liar? Who exactly are you calling a liar? Here's the truth. If Kay or Gigi or Kresha or Colby, if any of them come out and say to me, I saw XYZ in a text, you want to know something? That is good as gold to me. That's all I need to know. Because I have exactly zero reason to believe that any of these people that have survived so much that they have any motivation at all to lie. Why would they lie? Lauren, Trisha, Duty Ron, me again. Why would they lie? Explain to me, Lauren Matthias, Trisha of Web Sleuths, explain to me why Gigi is going to say, I've seen text. Kay Woodcock is going to say, I've seen text. Kresha is going to say, I've seen text. Explain to me why you have the audacity to suggest that you can't believe them. And until you see the text, that you stand true and blue with Lauren Matthias and John Matthias, two people that we heard talking to a police officer ready to put a mother of four in jail, in prison from 5 to 50 years for a crime she never committed. You guys, man, your loyalty, you're upside down. You guys are upside down. You are confused, Trisha. You are confused. You know, Trisha, you know who you need to be demanding receipts from? From your little friend. Why, when? That's who. From John. Those people. Those are the ones that have been revealed to be liars and schemers and manipulators and gaslighters and name droppers. Not this family that has survived so much that we can't even fathom. I can't even believe that your dumbass even said it, Trisha. It's unforgivable. Almost as unforgivable as that damn pleather outfit you wore. You know what? Elegant women know better than to wear pleather. Just saying. It's like dressing up for Halloween. Now, if you have a nice Italian leather skirt, nice little bomber jacket, that's a whole different thing, because people in the know can spot real leather a mile away. But that plastic crap, why don't you just scream, I have no idea what I'm doing? Because when you don pleather, that is a faux pas. I don't know if it's already been said, but Colby has finally addressed it. Wow, I didn't see it. I think Colby was talking about all crime creators, but I think he doesn't realize we're all just trying to get to the truth so re-victimizing doesn't happen again. Yeah, pleather after 40, that's it, right? Yeah. So, let's see. I don't know if it's, okay. The supposed forensic psychologist. If it comes all the way down to Meg's needing to see texts from her friend, I have no room for that in my life. Right, Kresha? Totally agree. It appears that all the other evidence hasn't swayed her even an inch, which is just incredible. Somebody left a couple of messages about these texts, right? Oh, well, why haven't they released them? Why haven't they released them? Why haven't they released them? And I finally answered, and I said, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. You listened to the police interviewing Lauren and Grayson, right? John wants to put Christina in jail, and she hasn't even dropped the text. And they're coaching the police officer how to twist the arm of Christina and some of these other women that might have these texts. And he's saying, okay, well, if you drop them, you're getting sued. If you drop them, it's criminal charges. If you drop the text, you're going to jail, right? He's saying it. So you heard the whole thing. You heard him tell Lauren in a little boyish type way, no crime has been committed. And then he turns around and gets on the phone with Christina and screams at her, right? So question, would you release the text if you had them based on a forensic psychologist who outright said, oh, I don't care if she actually broke the law. I just want to be able to put a case against her so that we can get her convicted of breaking the law. I don't care if she actually did break it. Don't you know how special Lauren is? Don't you understand that me and Lauren we are not you guys. We are better than you guys. So exactly what makes you think that anyone at this point is eager to fight a court battle with an unprincipled, lying well-educated jerk. I wouldn't want to. Same with the Epstein files. I don't want to see them. By the way they've acted regarding releasing them tells me everything I need to know. Plus, I saw some of the redacted ones years ago, right? All you got to do is watch how people are acting. And I've said that time and time again. You don't even need to see the text or emails or whatever. All you need to do is watch the police body cam and listen to what these three bozos are advocating. They're saying, help us, Mr. Police Officer, come up with a crime. We don't have any proof. But help us invent it. Give me a report that you talked to us today. Why? The dude is telling you there's been no crime. So how is this report going to help you, John Matthias? Because you're going to go into a court of law and you're going to say, we have a police report. This really happened. No, it didn't. There was no evidence of any crime. What the police report would say is Lauren complained. That's all it would say. And you didn't care. You talked about multiple charges on the same crime so that maybe you could send Christina away for 50 years. Like, what's wrong with you, John Matthias? It's incredible, really. They're going to have to homeschool because there's no way Mumsy is going to be able to cope on the school mom playground. Mumsy is really focused on herself. It is a little bit scary, actually. Did you notice that, Trisha? Just curious. Like, as you're watching the police body cam, are you listening to Lauren? Lauren says, oh, yeah. I don't care about the victims. We're talking about me right now. I don't want what I did say in these texts and emails to get out for people to hear what I said about them. She admits it. Not once has she said she lied. And John Matthias came behind and said, oh, it's perfectly normal to be in a group chat talking about shit talking about your friends, just blowing off a little steam. It's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. My wife did nothing wrong. Okay, John, you clearly have never been around healthy women before. Women do not talk mean about their friends on a group chat. You want to know why, John? Because by the time they get out of junior high, they've already figured out that when you talk shit about other women, it always gets back to them. Always. Women of integrity, they sound like Gigi. They sound like Christina. They sound like Kresha. If you don't like someone, you stay away from them. You don't talk about people, you talk about ideas and events. And yet you, the great and powerful forensic psychologist, you normalized this insane behavior that has now driven your wife to file fake restraining orders, cease and desist orders, letters. And the only thing she's doing, she's not trying to prove that she never said those things. She's trying to hide what she did, in fact, say and do. I mean, are you even stopping to consider that your wife is the one in the wrong here? Well, it was unfair to put Annie on blast. Again, Carolina, I think each look, there are so much, like, there's so much missteps, bad choices, intentional exploitation. There's so much. You got to remember, this thing lasted, was it 5 years, Krusha? Is that? Yeah, and don't forget, Lauren did tell the officer McSnotty that they recorded the phone call with Gigi. Gigi was illegally recorded, and Lauren has no way to protect herself in a court of law if Gigi wanted to force it. So, there's that too. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it's quite satisfying that Megan is so mad about this. Get used to that feeling because of who you are choosing to align with. Facts. And Christina is not a dumb woman. I agree, Lily. Christina is, that's the thing about being honest, right? When you're honest, you don't run into all these hiccups, John. Oh, I'm sorry, Kimberly. Yeah, I haven't seen it. He is entitled to say what he needs to say. It's very important. That is categorically Marble Dragon, like absolutely none of your business. It's just not. They are a family, and it doesn't matter to any of us who talks to who or for how long or about what. It doesn't have anything to do with the price of eggs in China, and we're not going to talk about it in the channel. I have the Henderson PD phone number, and I'm going to call and make a complaint. I kind of think a lot of people did already. Oh, don't cross the all-powerful John Matthias, right? Christina's definitely setting herself up. She will win a slander lawsuit. They called her stalker, like 200 and something times, right? I mean, this is bad, y'all. This is going to look really bad. And the fact that the texts and such haven't been released, that's a pretty good sign that Christina will have her day. She only cares about her money. I think that is the driving force, Cheyenne. That's only a guess on my part. I don't know that to be true, but that does seem to be the motivation. Is once what I've said about family members and whatnot, once all that comes out, then no one will listen to me. Once it comes out what I really am, then no one will ever believe me or my reporting again. And I think that's what they're grappling. Now, let me say this, okay? I want you to think about your own situation. Think about this. If a company told you, okay, if you'll work really, really hard for the next 4 years, I'm going to give you $2.5 million. What are you going to do? You're going to work really hard. You're going to do a really good job. You're going to collect your $2.5 million. And then are you going to get mad and start suing the company because they're not going to give you another 2.5 million? Or are you going to be grateful that you made that money? That's the problem, isn't it, Jesse? If you're a psychologist, then you know what the code of ethics is, right? And we cannot present ourselves in a way that makes others question the profession. Even said if the messages get out, they are ruined. So what does that tell Ms. Megan? What? I think I missed that. So John Matthias said to someone that no matter what they do to try to stop it, that they're ruined anyway. No. If the messages get out, they are ruined. So John knows what the messages are, doesn't he? He knows what they are. He knows what his wife said, and he knows how bad they are, that it's going to make the majority of the true crime community steer clear. Wow. I don't know how I missed that. Who did he say that to? They asked the police officer to go bully someone. Yeah, and that is actually illegal. You cannot do that. So, all I got to say, Lauren and Grayson, y'all are like really super lucky you didn't get arrested on the spot. And I think that if this police officer were not LDS, well, he probably would have arrested you because you guys tried to make him threaten Christina, which he kind of did, Okay, all I could understand between the conversation with Lauren Grayson and the cop is that Lauren is terrified of some nasty messages being made public that she wrote. Yeah, they were. Look, I'm only repeating what I've heard. I have seen nothing. Okay. They apparently were, well, no, that's not true because I did see a little bit about one person in the family. They were really bad messages toward the family of JJ and Tylee. That's really what it was. And talking crap about professional journalists that had been really nice to Lauren, helpful to her. And this girl just turns around and slanders anyone, apparently. But look, Kresha's in the family, and she's seen some stuff. Why would Kresha lie to you? She has no dog in this fight. She is 100% just simply trying to find a new normal in life, trying to grieve the loss of people in her family that she loved very much. The idea that Kresha would lie and make up something that wasn't true, for what reason? I know, because Lauren is the perpetual, never-ending victim. Dr. John, I think you missed some classes in your PhD program, honey. Like, did you miss some classes? You know what I'm talking about, DSM? Did you overlook some of that? Because, I don't know, seems to be staring you in the face. Lauren talked shit about John, like when he told her to calm her spending money. Oh, she was pissed and went live about it, tripping on a mystery. Who does that? Who has a husband who says, hey, honey, money's a little tight right now. Slow down a little bit till we can get caught up. Perfectly normal conversation to have in a marriage. What does Lauren do? She jumps on a live. She looks like pouty and, like a child, like a little girl that's been told no by her daddy. And she rolls her eyes. Well, John said I couldn't be spending any money, so I won't be buying anything. On a live with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, airing out your private conversations with your husband about financial solvency on a live. Lauren, what's wrong, chick? Oh, I don't know, Blue Jay. I don't know. Hook, line, and sinker. Thank you for your message earlier, and good to see you. Her sitting there on that couch under that $400 Lola blanket is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Second that opinion. Absolutely hook, line, and sinker. Totally agree. You know what I found the strangest hook, line, and sinker? I thought it was crazy that she's sitting there. She's kind of turned sideways toward the police officer, right? He's talking to her, not to Grayson, but to her. And Lauren is on her computer scrolling, not looking up at the cop. What was that? That was a power differential. That was a woman who believed she was absolutely the person of highest power in the room. She was being very dismissive, looking down her nose at this little peon of just a uniformed LE. Crochet says, officer called Christina July 3rd, 2 weeks after the call to Gigi and the body cam on June 19th. Oh, so he had there were 2 weeks for manipulation, wasn't there? There was 2 weeks for Bobby Joe to come in screaming at Officer McSnotty. 2 weeks for John Matthias to pull rank and say, oh, I've done evaluations in federal court. You better not mess with me. Right? 2 weeks. And that's when we got the call then to to Christina. McSnotty, what gives? What's your deal? Think you're going to find out, buddy. Look for that summons. It's coming. Dr. John admitted that if any of these texts are released that his wife wrote, slandering and defaming people become public, their business is ruined. Wow. Krisha, what do you think they said? Oh, that sounds so bad. Oh, I know, Lil. She's a small child in her mind. She's about 13 years old, in my opinion. Yeah, Carolina's got a great name. Listen to Christina and Gigi over the phone, not even seeing their body language. They were way more sincere and honest than anything I heard with Lauren and Grayson and John. Yep, totally agree. Absolutely agree with you. Yep. It's all John's coming down on her and she doesn't know what else to do besides beg cops to scare. My understanding of his stance against AC is because she has gone so hard on him from jump. Megan, not so much, but AC. That is not Awen Reese. Who is AC? She went hard on mom too. It's not fun. She went hard on your mom? Good Lord. Is it AC? Who is AC? I don't know who AC is. Those texts must be evil. Right, Shannon? I can't even imagine what someone could say against the family, especially when befriending them. Lauren must be a psycho. It's sickening what she's done. I don't even think Annie is a gatherer. I wouldn't think so much, Mabel. I just always kind of got the feeling that she was sort of on her own, like her own little island, right? I love how you protect the family. I'm sorry, but I will never be able to forgive Megan or trust her again. Also, Joe Schmoes and Trisha, I didn't like them anyway and wouldn't like them going forward anyway. You are such a strong, brave woman to come through all this. She is. She's been amazing. She has stood up for her family. She has educated herself. Crush has been great. Absolutely great. Is it actually illegal to record someone without their consent, or is it just not usable in a court of law? It's absolute. See, here's the thing, Mabel. So the problem is that, some states, the two-party or what they call all-party states, is they're trying to say that if you're going to record, everybody that's on the call needs to agree to the call. But there and therefore, if you don't have that, you can't consider that your texts belong to you, that they're your property. So you wouldn't be able to freely share with other people. Now, there's ways around that. One way is that if you're on the phone call and then there is a person in the room listening, they're not a part of the call, but they're listening and they hear everything, they can actually corroborate what someone is said. Like they can look at it and say, yes, this is the exchange that happened. So that's one way for it to come out legally with no kind of punishment. But if it is that the information coming out of the phone call, it was only recorded in a one-person state, but the person on the other end of the call was in an all-party state, then even in that situation, you can still take the recording and it can be used as evidence in a court of law. It's no longer, you're no longer being governed based on internet laws. It's now fallen under laws of evidence and chain of custody. So that's why they don't have to release these texts. If they're going forward with a lawsuit, the attorney has them. The police officers have them. They can be used in a court of law. It is not useless evidence, Mabel. Please talk about the fact that HTC says things that normal. Can you restate that, Shanna? I don't really understand. You mean that it's strange that Hood and True Crime would talk like that just because that's how she normally behaves? I think that's exactly what happened. I don't think she has an actual real friend on the planet. I think every relationship she's in is transactional, and she judges who she will befriend based on what she believes that she can get from them. It's only my opinion. It's no way. I'm not stating that as fact. I think the G word, it holds, Blue Jay. Yeah. That thing that they did to Christina at CrimeCon, that is all you need to know about the kind of person that Lauren Matthias is. The reality is she could have filed this restraining order. She could have done it in the days ahead of CrimeCon. She could have had her served at the hotel room. That's not what they did, is it? They waited until they saw Christina and she's sitting out at the table getting ready to go into CrimeCon. They knew she had her ticket from a year earlier. Christina bought her ticket a year earlier. Lauren didn't even know she was going, by her own words. They set it up with the help of Bobby Joe. They set it up so that Christina would experience public humiliation, number one, and number two, character assassination. That's what this has all been about from the beginning, isn't it, John Matthias? You said, well, we really don't have to silence them. We have to ruin their credibility so that anything that people might say, then we'll just be able to say, oh, you're going to listen to Christina? She's been a proven liar. She's been arrested. She's not allowed to be around me. She's serving 5 years in prison. And then, Lauren, you and I can continue making our millions, our blood money, and we don't have to worry if anyone tells the truth about what you are. Now that ought to scare you to death, Trisha of Web Sleuths. You ought to be terrified of two people who would be that manipulative, who would have absolutely zero interest in honesty, kindness, empathy, legalities, and they would have 100% interest in setting up someone to be put in prison as long as it shut her up, or at least made it so that no one would believe anything she said. Well, you know what, John Matthias? I know you think you're smarter than the entire world, but this really backfired on you, didn't it? Because people are not dumb, John. People are not stupid. You and Lauren may think they are, but they're not. Proton wasn't brought up in court case against Christina in Texas. It's because they had to change it. They were going to do the fake crime extortion. And when that didn't hold up, per Officer McSnoddy, then they started talking stalking. Nobody stalked except for Lauren and Grayson. Lauren and Grayson were the original stalkers. It's not, it is good evidence. There's nothing wrong with the evidence. I'm not defending Alex Cox, and I was there when she talked shit about Christina. I agree with you. What I'm trying to say is just name drop everyone he feels has done him wrong. John has broken all ethical boundaries. Yeah, you know, there are lots of psychologists, mental health experts on YouTube in this true crime genre. I have zero doubt their jaws have been on the ground listening to some things he said and done. What he said during that police body cam, it was unbelievable. It was really unbelievable. If you dare say one negative thing about Lauren in a chat, everyone would jump on you now. I'm feeling vindicated and proud of myself for knowing ahead of time. You called it. You got it right. Yeah, yes, Vibanji. In a sense, Dr. Matthias is saying, if you guys, the true crime community, if y'all see what Lauren did, what she wrote, our brand is over. We're finished. That is quite terrifying. I'm so sorry, Kimberly. So sorry. I lost my 19-year-old son December 25th, 2002. I have a special place in my heart for Colby. I just wanted to make sure you check out his live. He's so precious. His insights are amazing. I will, Kimberly. I absolutely will. Thank you for that. Please talk about the fact that Lauren says things that normal people don't. For example, texts are going to harm me and others. Normal wouldn't say this because of how ridiculous it sounds. Yeah, if you wrote it, if you were the one that wrote it and you knew you were writing about victims' families and you knew that if it got out, you would be ruined, why would you write it? Why would you write it? It's very strange. Yeah, he said it on the body cam, right? After Dr. John Shenanigans, listen to Tripping on a Mystery. After Dr. John Shenanigans, if I seek a therapist, I'll use ChatGPT. I promise you, Tripping on a Mystery, there are really, really great psychologists out there. Honestly. So we're pretty horrified by his behavior. And I don't know if he lost perspective. I don't know if he got too close. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Scared. I don't know. But please know this. Even if you get in and you see somebody and you just don't feel like it's a good personality fit, or you don't particularly like the way they're handling things, all you have to do is say, would you mind giving me a referral to 3 other psychologists, and go try a few more until you find someone that you feel comfortable with. Please know that. Please know, because one bad apple does not spoil the whole barrel, right? I was hoping he would have, but he didn't. Only strongly insinuated who I think is Megan, but I don't know. He also said he was doing this in parts. Maybe he will in the future. Interesting. Is this Mr. Brett? Is it Mr. Breakfast? Is that the guy's name? He was rude. He was condescending. He was rude. He literally yelled at Christina after listening to them talk about inventing a crime to charge her with. I think they're so hungry to throw Christina in jail. She's just trying to keep the peace and not be railroaded. I would not disagree with that. Here's another thing that nobody has talked about. True crime, Law and Crime, Court TV. Those producers, they have the text. They were all sent to Law and Crime and Court TV, right? Have you seen Lauren back on their shows since this all broke? They've seen it. You heard Gigi, how clear she was about her position. They've all seen this. I think any opportunity for her to be on real TV, I think that it's finished now. I think they've seen the truth, and that she is not an asset, that she's quite a liability, right? Because she can't control what she's saying. So I guess maybe she just thinks she's going to try to keep it all together using her YouTube channel. And she continues to have a lot of support. So there's that too. You don't sit there in your pajamas under a blanket trying to look small like a victim. All she wanted was a scare. It was kind of silly. Very manipulative, right? I know he was referring to Megan Connor when he said he was sick and tired of people getting condolences for his siblings and having a platform coming out of nowhere. Wow. Have to wonder if these supporting Hidden True Crime have watched any of the fallout. Why would Trish and Megan still support her? I mean, I have asked that question, Tina. I have said, Duty Ron, Trisha, Megan, have you watched just the police body cam? You don't have to watch anything else, just the body cam. Like, have you actually seen them in action? I do believe, it's my opinion only, I believe that Trisha has watched it. I just think because she's so close to true crime, I don't think she would ignore that. Not a police body cam. Now, why they're not telling the truth about what they're seeing, that's a whole other story. I did speculate that they may be part of this, consortium of creators, possibly led by Glenn Beck's group. And so it's a business, it's a money deal. And maybe they're being told, you support Lauren Matthias. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I have no proof. I have no facts. This is only my thoughts. Okay. Lauren sprinkles fear of an acknowledgement of her trashy text in her 9-hour stream. She sprinkles or turns the water hose on. she was completely in a panic because she was like, oh my God, I've said and done horrible things. I've acted badly. And now everyone's going to know what I really am. Yeah, totally agree. Renting her clothes rubbed me the wrong way. I wouldn't be friends with someone like her. So for sure, not listening to her podcast. Please talk about the fact that Lauren does not seem to know how normal people talk and ask questions. He did intimidate and threaten Christina. The cop did, yes. Hey, Kimberly. Exactly. She told us about the text and emails. We probably would have never known. It is, I cannot believe, at this point, just watching their reaction tells you everything about how bad the stuff is they're trying to hide. That calling the police hasn't done anything except to sink Lauren's ship. Lauren did it herself. It's the classic story. If you go for vengeance, you better dig 2 graves, right? I worked at a 14-bed hospital at a ski resort as a traveling RN. Everyone who I worked with was Mormon. They couldn't drink coffee, and not a single coffee pot was there. No joke. I can't imagine a hospital with no coffee in it, St. Elmo. Mystic Firefly, good to see you. Watching how she treated Crescia, how she weaseled her way to victims' families. Dr. John was just fate from the start. No psychologist would ever diagnose someone they never met. He did try to intimidate and threaten her, and she still apologized. People who are in the know have been saying there's a text of Lauren calling. Oh, God, no. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. And Crescia, can you imagine if the avenue that these texts get actually released is in the court system? Can you imagine the impact of such a comment? Man, it's just awful. You want to know what I think? Just, I don't know this family. I didn't know any of them, anything like that. But, after what we've seen of Lori Vallow, if you were living in the house, you were trying to protect JJ from her, you were trying to figure out your best life, maybe she did fight back against Lori. But, I mean, I would just say more power to you, girl, right? I'd be applauding. The Henderson cop said Christina broke a law by sharing screenshots. No, it's not true. I feel like Lauren would have been in Chad's cult if she had gotten to know those people. She's just that creepy. Well, I mean, really, I think Crush has done a really good job of kind of talking about the guidance that some of these books, the Mormon power structure, the weird guys in charge, they've kind of trained up people how to manipulate, right? So I wouldn't disagree at all that perhaps the same type of manipulation or treatment that Lori and Chad got that made them slap ass crazy, made them go off the, rails, that who's to say that Lauren hasn't also been molded in the same way? She literally bragged about having DNA coming from a family that was in northern Mexico. And the Mormons that went to northern Mexico, including the Romney clan, the reason they did it was in order to practice polygamy. She doesn't seem to even know that or understand it. She said it like name dropping, Like somehow she got credibility. And I'm like, girl, I don't think I'd be telling people that if I were you. They can drink Pepsi, but not Coke? Is that true? Guess who owns the largest stock in Pepsi? The LDS Church. Wow. I never heard that. I thought they couldn't have any caffeine at all. Yeah, that's what she said, Tina. She said she called Christina annoying. That's bullshit. You wouldn't be calling the police over and over and over because you said someone was annoying. Stop. It's not true. Her and Grayson were going back and forth on how they wanted the cop to call the second he offered to. Ugh. I don't understand how she still has so many subscribers. Well, I mean, she's got a lot of support. Even without a lawyer, I think Christina handled the officer professionally. So glad she was prepared for the bullshit. I think she's protected. I think she has legal guidance. Better. I think her attorneys are a hell of a lot better than Brother Pace. Yeah, we do, Isabel. Not only did she compare herself with Tylee, she compared herself to Charles. I'm not even going to go through it again because I've said it so many times. No, she is someone who, in her mind, my opinion, that she romanticized being a victim and is sort of like went through this, perhaps some type of delusional thought that somehow this was her family. This is weird as hell. It's weird as hell that you've got people in your family dying and you leave them so you can go cover a trial saying, I had to make sure that JJ got justice. That was one of the hands down weirdest thing I've ever heard. And I really questioned, like, what did John think? Like when he heard that, when he heard those words, what did he think? It's weird. It's very strange. Yeah, and that whole thing, making him stand up, they're cuddled up under, these fur blankets, not looking at it. What's wrong with you, Lauren? You know what you do? First of all, as soon as you realize the police are there, excuse yourself and go put on some clothes, okay? Brush your hair, brush your teeth, make yourself presentable, right? Invite the police officer to sit down, whether it is to sit down on a chair or to go over to the table. Most of the times I've seen or heard, you invite them to sit down at the table because they're writing, they're doing a report while they're talking to you. That was so pompous, making him stand like that. But I get it. You were it was a power play where you were suggesting that he was your servant and you were the queen. You were lounging. You didn't have to show him respect. Really, Lauren, it's gross. I can't put myself to a place where that would ever be okay or even be a thought of mine. Totally agree. I've never thought anything close to demeaning the victims who were already, you can say it, murdered. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, nobody even think it's such a far thought. Like you just don't. All you think is you need to protect these people. They need justice. The victims need justice. Why in the world would a grown woman feel like she had to slander a little girl who was a murder victim? Yeah, I'm I'm to the point that I have absolutely zero interest in seeing these texts. They've got to be awful. That's the truth. But for the way that they have behaved, it's got to be awful. It's got to be bad. It's got to be really, really bad. I can and will write a comment about a day they brought 18 seniors from Driggs, Idaho High School drunk. They had vodka in their tumblers. They were supposed to have cocoa. Wow. So hard for all the members of the families who have to deal with this. It's causing them unfair new trauma. It is disgusting, Carolina. Yeah. Why would you even try to make up this? Like, why would you even, Lauren, John, Matthias, why would these people even attempt to make up this about you guys? You look terrible. And Trisha asking to see the text that makes you look even bad as them. It's like, I don't know what's wrong with you people. I don't know what y'all are thinking. Amy Carlson. Ooh, that's a creepy lady. That's a scary, creepy lady. I'm so something to hearing my husband saying that, but my ears are numb to the words. He's right. Guess who had a cough back in 2021? Oh, really? That will be interesting. What time are you doing the live, Krisha? Yeah, I think so, Crochet. You can't say definitively. It could have been an Altoid, right? But I think so. And then she got very relaxed and lazy, right? Wow, Mystic. Is Grayson Trisha's daughter? She kind of looks like Trisha of Web Sleuths. Ah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That is sus, Mabel. That John told Lauren, stay at Grayson's. Like, okay, now your husband doesn't want you to come home? I'm just curious, Lauren, was it worth all this? Maybe you'd have been better off to just apologize. Oh, it's craziness. No eye contact, crossed arms, bragging about who you are as signs of lying and narcissism. There, you guys can look up something called narcissism collapse. Just like get on the Google or like Chat GPT or something, and read about narcissistic collapse. It's a thing. It's a thing. I believe Christina handled the cop really well, but she really should not have talked to him at all when he called. She should have said is, am I under arrest? No. Okay, bye. You know, look, it's easy for us to say shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? And I get that. I do think she represented herself incredibly well. And she did, I think she was really successful in putting a spotlight on this cop and whatever his motivations may have been. I thought that was good. However, as I, was listening, I was thinking to myself, oh, you're never, remember this, okay? Remember this. Never, ever, 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 ever talk to a cop without an attorney. Scott Reich, he's got a coffee cup. Lawyer. Never talk to the police ever without your attorney. Ever. I can't say it enough. I do think that a lot of people that are innocent, they've done nothing wrong. I think they have this feeling, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. I can go ahead and talk to them. But you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, right? And we heard John Matthias, he wanted this cop to invent a broken law so that they could have Christina jailed. So just don't. You're not going to ingratiate yourself to the cops. The cops are not going to say, oh, well, they talked to me with no trouble. They didn't ask for an attorney. I'm going to let them slide. I don't think they did anything wrong. That's not what they're going to do. They're happy that you don't bring an attorney, because then they're going to get busy lying to you and manipulating you in order to try to get the story they're looking for, right? Your attorney you're still going to be able to talk. You can still tell your truth. You can still say, I'm innocent. The attorney is there to make sure that the law is followed. That's all. They're not there to trick the cops or anything like that. They're there to say, hey, wait a minute. You don't have to answer that. It's okay. Sheriff and the head of the ward came in. The sheriff said the church was going to deal with them when I asked if I could be needed in court. Wow, that is nuts. That the ward head is apparently just as much authority as the sheriff. Oh, she handled herself so well, Lorianne. I'm so glad you were on this afternoon. Oh, 26 Celsius. Yikes. Yikes. How much snow y'all have on the ground? I'm over here standing behind Christina in the I sue you, Lawin line. I think she said awful stuff about Tylee. I hope not. I really hope not. Do not forget to mention that he made that remark about Trump being mistreated. That was so weird. Gilbert, what was he even talking about? He's talking about like slander, defamation, stalking, extortion. And then he starts talking about Trump and politicians lying, going broke because you have to defend yourself against lies. It was so weird. Oh my God, it was so weird, Gilbert. Thank you for bringing that up. That was Officer McSnotty. What was that? Why would you say that to Christina? Oh, well, Trump had to spend millions to protect himself against false claims. Do you have millions? I mean, it's kind of what it sounded like, McSnotty, to be honest. John said Lauren is around 13. Really? Tripping. What? Lauren and Grayson need to be stopped calling Christina stalker and Mr. Breakfast a hacker. Well, look, and why would you even give that statement about Mr. Breakfast any credibility at all? She had just sat there for hours trying to convince this cop to wrongfully arrest Christina. And then when that didn't work, she said, okay, wait a minute. Time to go to plan B. It wasn't Christina and the gals, not at all. This was actually about a dude who's done this before. Let me tell you who he is. Lauren, your ass is writing checks that your hand is not going to be able to pay, girl. You are offending so many people. You are slandering so many people. The way I see it, Lauren, you're not going to have to worry about your YouTube channel. You are going to have a hopping channel because you're going to have so many court orders and hearings and charges and time served for your own crimes against humanity, lady. You can't stop offending people. Yeah, Bobby Joe. Oh, Bobby Joe. Oh, Annie AC was Annie Cushing. Damn, I got to go back and read that statement a while ago. Oh, yeah. No, things got weird with Annie. I was, I tried to not be, just stay back and not, it's just too painful. All of it was just too much. You should never talk to a cop without a lawyer, in my opinion. And if you don't have any law or crime that you've committed, you don't have to talk to them at all. I mean, that's it. That in a nutshell. The cop is a right-wing extremist and a Mormon, which sometimes goes hand in hand. But then I know Jewish people that support Trump. So there you have it. There's no telling. There's a lot of atheists that support Trump too. I think Trump's got he got a lot of votes that were pretty unusual. People were surprised by. Let's see. I actually can't think of anything. We got Grayson. Oh, that was a bad joke, wasn't it? I shouldn't have said that. I'm so ashamed of myself. I actually can't think of anything. It was a joke, y'all. It was just a joke. It wasn't real. I wasn't saying anything even remotely true. It was a joke. That's all. Cinnamon hot. Come in here and save me. I am getting myself into trouble, Cinnamon. I need your help. Okay, AC is Annie Cushing, which is Joe Ryan's sister, which is Tylee's aunt. Yeah. Can't deal with the humidity you have down there. We got it. Big humidity. Thank you, Cinnamon. There's Crush's channel. Not Annie Elise, Annie Cushing. Krisha, you're live tomorrow. Let me, because I am really looking forward to that. Let me get that pulled up here. Hold on. All right. Oh, God, those god-awful tie-dye pajamas. Terrible. Lauren, promise you'll never wear those again. Okay. And can I say this too, Krisha? I love the name that you've given to this series, Sins of Our Podcasters. Man, so good. It's so good. So good. Great name. Great title. Okay, so let me give you, this is the link for the live that Krisha will be doing tomorrow. It will be, oh, wait a minute. Have I got that wrong? Damn it. I did, didn't I? No, this one was done 4 days ago. Wait a minute. Maybe you haven't set it up yet. Okay, that is. No, I'm sorry. She has not yet set up the live for tomorrow. What time is it going to be, Krisha? Sorry, I was wrong about that. But it's gonna be 13 below. Lori, you bless your soul, you little Eskimo. Yeah, when I finish this live, I'm going to go over and watch Colby's channel. Okay, so here, I kind of got really sidetracked. I try super hard not to do that, but I was kind of taken back by the fact that Colby went live. Some of you guys were there, you heard it, and I have not heard it. I know nothing about it. But I wanted to bring up this idea of ethics, self-regulation in journalism, right? Because Lauren, she really prides herself on being a journalist that was on real TV, as opposed to like me, a little peon who just gets on YouTube and, talks, correct? So there is a book by a guy, Chris Frost, 2007, and the title of the book is Journalistics, Ethics and Self-Regulation in the UK. It's been updated since then, but still it is considered the comprehensive preeminent guide for journalists or journalism students on the ethical dilemmas and regulatory framework in UK media. And the topics covered are privacy, like privacy of victims, privacy, accuracy, and the impact of technology. Like, what does technology mean for reporting on big stories? There's also looks at the changing landscape of balancing journalistic freedom with the public interest. Do you hear that, Lauren? Lauren, hello? Hello? Bueller? Balancing journalistic freedom with public interest. What they're talking about there, Lauren, is integrity. Just because you can trick victims and family members doesn't mean you should, Lauren. You should try to develop a story that is interesting and is filled with integrity, that you give victims and their family members, that you give them privacy, you give them space, that you act as a stop guard. You know what that means? Not only do you not report on how many tears a victim had, how long they cried, but you try to protect them so no journalist that has no integrity isn't able to eavesdrop and report on it. To be a journalist doesn't mean that you're a mercenary. It doesn't mean that you get to invade a family's privacy and then spill it all over your channel so that you can bring home $3 million. And then you turn around and you take a family member to court because you don't want them stopping you from using your photographs or telling their stories. So, the ethics of journalism, I myself am not a journalist, but the ethics of journalism come down to these core ethical principles: truth, making sure you're only reporting what is fact, accuracy, that when you report the facts, you don't fudge a little bit. You've got to be objective, not handpick facts that will let you push a narrative that you want to push, but overall present the facts in a way that you are not pushing a storyline. And that is not what you did, not by a long shot. You pushed a storyline, Lauren, John too, where you wanted to trick the entire YouTube true crime community into thinking that you were part of their family, that you were grieving the loss of these family members. And unfortunately, they were very trusting, and you did get some fantastic interviews. But at what cost, Lauren? A big part of ethics, it's not just understanding and knowing, obviously, Dr. John, what the core ethical principles are. Like, you have to know them, number one. But you also are supposed to remember that you're the professional and that it's up to you to control yourself. It's up to you to know the core principles and to follow them. Did you do that at all? No. You yelled at the true crime community that what Lauren did was perfectly natural and normal, that she was just blowing off a little steam when she was saying horrible things about these families that have lost so much. You said it was totally normal, that in fact, what Lauren did, there was nothing wrong with what Lauren did. The only thing that was wrong is that people were going to shine a spotlight on what she did. Those people with the spotlights on the truth, the whistleblowers, you want those people to go to prison for 5 to 50 years. But your little princess who's saying these god-awful things, you just chastised everybody and said, leave my sweet little princess alone. It's unforgivable, John. It's unforgivable, considering the people that are involved in this. I mean, she can talk crap about me all day long. I'm a nobody. I don't care what she says about me. I'm not the one that's grieving. But to target this family from whom she has taken so much, to put her sights on Brandy Vaughn, the things that happened with the Delphi case, she outright intentionally misled people, acting like she was in the courtroom at Delphi when she was not. So much dishonesty, John. So much dishonesty. Of course, with ethics, like anything else, the impact of technology is a huge challenge. This widespread use of the internet as it is, the capabilities for live reporting on the spot as these things unfold, it's made the whole issue of ethics and integrity, it has made it difficult sometimes. Phone hacking, things like that, right? But you lied. You said, obviously, we had been hacked. And the reason you said that is because you know that that's a condition of the laws that you were going to try to hang illegally around Christina's neck. There was no hacking. Your wife is not a professional businesswoman. Not only did she not get an NDA from her so-called employees, but she gave them full, clean, clear, open access to all of her accounts. No one does that, John. No one. So you can't even blame it on technology. It was just a train wreck. It was a comedy of errors in terms of just the practical application of professional ethics on your part, journalistic standards on the part of Lauren. And together, y'all came together, and at the heart of what you were mishandling so badly were people that have been torn asunder. People that are just trying to figure out how to put one foot in front of the other again. I mean, this is bad, John. It's really bad. So if we're only thinking about just the journalistic ethics and standards, right? It is, seek truth and report only verified information. Here's a big one, Lauren. Minimize harm. That's number 2 on the list. Minimize harm. Treat subjects with compassion. You know who subjects are? Those are the people that you are reporting on. Those are the people that you're talking about. Did you treat them with compassion? JJ and Tylee, did they get compassion? How about the family members? Compassion? Or were you just trying to stir up as much nonsensical drama as you could because there was money to be made. And here's another part of minimizing harm. You have to balance the public need with potential harm. There are some things that you should not ever report. And I haven't seen any other journalist reporting on how much a victim or a family member cried. You want to know why, Lauren? Because it's not a scoop. Because normal people understand that we cry when we lose the people that matter to us. We cry when we're under a great deal of stress and strain. Crying is not a news story, Lauren. It's private and personal. Even if it's happening out on the street corner, normal people, Lauren, turn and look the other way. They give that grieving, hurt person privacy, even if it's just to avert their eyes. It's the right thing to do. It's humanity. You're also supposed to act independently, Lauren, and that means treating the subjects of your stories with compassion. Avoid conflicts of interest. Well, color me stupid, but I would say two people who made $3 million exploiting the victims of what is probably one of the most notorious crimes in history. I think that is, a conflict of interest. I think the minute you befriend a victim or the family members of the victim or the detectives, the police officers covering the story, the crime, I think the minute you befriend them, you should no longer report on that particular crime because of conflicts of interest. What do you guys think about that? John Matthias befriended these victims. In one particular case that I know of, and I'm not going to say there weren't more, but there's one that I know of, he absolutely did act in the role of a professional therapist. John, conflict of interest. I mean, I don't know, I know the APA ethics codes and standards for professional conduct. Do you? Because you should have that memorized. This should be like burned into your skull, because that guides and dedicates what we're allowed to do in a professional context. You cannot do therapy with your friends, John. And you can't be friends with your patients. Do you know, John, that is the number one most often cited reason that a professional psychologist loses their license to practice independently? Dual relationships, right? Were you thinking at all? So acting independently, Lauren, that is one of your pillars in your journalistic ethics, okay? Avoid conflicts of interest. Resist undue influence. Maintain your objectivity. You know what that means, Lauren Matthias and John Matthias? Do not befriend victims of heinous crimes and then turn around and cover those stories on your channel. Do not do that. If you do make friends, if they do become important to you, then you should stop reporting on that story. You should make space for the family, for the friendship. Because above all else, do no harm is everything. Do not come into a situation to make it worse than what it was before. Don't do that where patients are concerned. Be accountable and be transparent. Take responsibility for your mistakes. And here's a big one: take accountability for your mistakes promptly. As soon as you realize you have violated your ethics, as soon as you realize you may have overstepped, made a mistake where the law is concerned, the moment you become aware, you immediately seek counsel, number one, from a peer, a professional psychologist, and then you do what you need to do to try and minimize the harm or correct what you did wrong. Hey, look, this is going to be a hard one for you guys. I get it. But I think this is important. And I think that these journalism ethics of personal and professional responsibility, I think these are important for all true crime creators to start talking about. I really think we need to start having a conversation about what's okay to talk about when we're covering these cases and what we should probably not be talking about. Fairness and impartiality. You need to present multiple perspectives of the same issue, and I'm terrible at that in this whole true crime thing. I'm terrible in it. In my soul, I happen to believe Barry Morphew harmed, killed Suzanne Morphew. That is my opinion. I don't have any proof. I don't have any special knowledge. I'm saying what my good sense is telling me. And it's very difficult for me to present a perspective on Suzanne Morphew going missing that would have Barry Morphew innocent, right? But if we're really going to be serious about ethics and integrity and the whole YouTube true crime genre, then that's going to have to be something I'm going to have to work on, John. I'm going to have to work. That's my personal bias. I'm going to have to figure out a way. If I'm going to talk about a case, I need to do it in a way that's responsible, where I am presenting multiple sides of the same problem. There's also, that, like, balancing the public interest or the public need to know with what is really just sensationalism. It's just something that you're using as a gimmick, right? To try to stir up more interest in your story. No, consider, who is your audience? Wow, that was a huge wave. Who is your audience? And then the story, streamline how you're covering it to stay within that guideline about why are you what is the public interest need for this particular report or discussion. And then above all else, if you're a journalist, maintain strong moral principles, avoid plagiarism at all costs. Well, sorry, Grayson and Lauren fell down on that one too, didn't you? You did plagiarize. You did take someone else's story and reuse it like a high school student. Well, I'll change a couple of prepositional phrases, use a little bit of a different adverb. That should be okay. No longer plagiarism. No, it absolutely was plagiarism. Be truthful in all of your dealings when acting as a professional journalist. Really, Lauren, I think it's sad that I have to do this. I'm not a journalist. It's not my job to tell you what your ethics are in journalism, since you've been on real TV. So I wanted to kind of open up this conversation to consider if we're going to talk about true crime cases or trials or whatever, we got to do better. There's got to be, there's some guidance out there for it, right? Who said what? Who said that? We ain't talking like that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, come on, lover. Bad puns? Damn. Look at what a disappointment. All right. Okay, so I'm not interested in any of the other stuff. I think it's much more convoluted than maybe we realize, and it's not my business. Thank you, AI. I think it was a lot more than that. He has a very strong community, and some of the people are kind of going hard. That's okay if those people go hard. They are trying to protect him. They are trying to reduce these situations that are so uncomfortable. I'm good. It's okay. Officer Bovine. I don't think there's a single person that thinks anything bad. Everyone thinks sympathy and hopes for the best. He had a horrible situation and he's come out stronger. I hope. Look, he's well loved, you know. Let's see. He did a great job explaining his boundaries. Good. I love that. We have to honor, I think above all else, for creators who are going to cover true crime cases, 100%, we have got to do better with looking at the boundaries. And look, for myself, okay, personally, I don't ever want to befriend a family member or a victim of a story that I'm talking about. I think you lose objectivity. I think for me personally, even professionally, I lose the right to talk about that story in a way that, you know, might be a little emotional. I 100% believe that victims or the families of victims, that they deserve one thing from me, and that is just protection. Give them their privacy, give them their privacy, give them their privacy. I think that people will discuss the crimes. They will discuss the criminals. I think it's a very slippery slope, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what's right or wrong. I have no idea, but I don't know how to define how much is honoring victims and how much is exploiting victims, right? So for me, I feel a really strong need to give families and the victims privacy. And I could be off base. I'm willing to accept that, but that's my own insight. I think anyone who does befriend a family member or a victim, I think you have to walk away from covering that case. I think it's wrong to be getting inside personal, high intimacy conversations with victims, and then you turn around and report it on your channel and make $3 million. I think it is not just a problem with professional ethics. I think it's 100% immoral. It's immoral. If you make $3 million off the murder of 2 children and 2 adults, then you ought to be donating that money. You shouldn't be spending it. You should be building yourself a mansion on the hill. So if you happen to befriend someone and you're reporting on the case, I think you have to step back to preserve the victim's privacy, and maybe to help the victim not be further violated. When you say, well, I want to keep reporting on this case, so I can't be friends with you. Can you imagine how horrible that would feel? No, I think if you're dumb enough that you're going to go out there and start saying, oh, you should come eat dinner with me. Let me cook something for you. Come hang out with me. You're intentionally doing that so that you get the inside scoop. You're intentionally doing that so you get access to interviews that everyone else doesn't get. And therefore, you've achieved an increased level of intimacy with that victim or their family members. You now have a moral responsibility toward the family, your friend. You now have a moral responsibility to take the high ground, and that is protect their privacy, protect their privacy, protect their privacy. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, KJ. That is my own absolute personal belief. If there is a case that is very important and you and you're doing a lot of work on it, you're covering it a lot, for God's sake, do not make friends with these people. They need to be protected from prying eyes. And they damn sure don't need to have their grief splattered all over, social media. Can't do it. We just can't. Look, I was years ago with the Chris Watts case, and y'all know I made so many videos about that heartbreaking, terrible thing that happened to those girls and Shanann. I had somebody reach out and they were trying to like befriend me, and I don't think they wanted to be my friend. Please don't get me wrong. I think they were trying to add perspective so I wouldn't be going so hard on Chris Watts. And the approach was, I can get you an interview with Chris Watts. For sure, I know I can get you an interview with, his mom and dad. Right? That's what was said to me. I have emails. I can prove it. And immediately I said, whoa. Hold on a minute here. Number one, I have exactly zero need to talk to a guy that murdered 2 little girls and his pregnant wife. None. Zero, zilch, none. And I don't think his mom and dad want to talk to me because I don't think they like what I have had to say about Chris. So no, I'll pass on this offer. I think that's what you have to do. And I think, in my head, after all the emails went back and forth and whatnot, in my head, I was like, God, I'm so stupid. I could have really grown my channel. Right. And I was like, no, you couldn't do it. You couldn't live with yourself. No, it's gross. It was such an unpleasant notion that I would be in contact with this psychopath who was capable of pushing 2 little girls into the most intolerable environment on the earth. Who dug a shallow grave and put his pregnant wife in the shallow grave only feet from where he was working. No, I can't. No, nothing about him do I want to report on. No, not a bit. So I believe the cases that each of us decide to cover and talk about in depth, I don't think that we should befriend or manipulate, is the word I would choose to use, exploit, gain false trust. I don't think you can do that and continue to report. I think you have to make a decision, either report objectively and within the scope of your professional ethics, or be a loyal friend who protects your friends from the media prying eyes. You have to do one or the other. No, you don't get to do both. Okay, Lauren, John, like when you hear that and you think about the situation that you're now in, you just think, wow, now I know why we have ethics. John, Matthias, why do we have professional ethics and rules of standards? Huh? Why do we have them? Oh, to keep things in scope, to keep us and to keep the public safe, right? Isn't that what you learned in your PhD? That's what I learned in mine, that those ethics, the rules of professional behavior, those are there to keep me on the straight and narrow and to protect the general public. So that is my manual, John. It's on every desk that I've ever gone to work. I've had it there, like right in front of my face. There's my calendar. There's my ethics code. All right. I enjoy listening to family members. I don't think you shouldn't report at all, but you need both sides. John, I'm so glad you are touching on this issue. I was so upset with Chris McDonough. Whoops. Chris McDonough befriended Summer's aunts and took the focus off Summer and continues to spend more and more content now based on them. HIPAA. I don't know how you're a healthcare provider and you don't know what HIPAA is. I have not spoken on HIPAA about this. Can't type right now. Listening. Love your take. Thank you, CG. And it's great to see you. Thank you for popping in. Pink Pajama Penguin. I get that some people have dark humor as a coping mechanism, but that is way different than trashy opinions and hurting victims, slandering victims, right? Yes, ma'am. I agree. Kylie. I understand that there's a lot of open discourse these days about whether somebody's being wrongfully convicted, but the discourse around Bryan Kohberger really gets to me. I can't handle it. It was awful. Imagine being the Goncalves family, because Kaylee took a lot of crap, right? A lot of this nasty discussion about whether Kohberger was guilty or not. A lot of it was people slandering Steve Goncalves, which I found bizarre, in the same way that I thought it was bizarre that Shanann Watts got blamed for the murder of her kids and herself. Look, I get it. I am a conspiracy theorist at heart. I'm always asking myself, yeah, but what don't we see? Right? I'm always thinking that, especially if the government's involved. It doesn't mean that my thoughts, my skepticism, it doesn't mean that I'm accurate, y'all. It means that I enjoy a good mystery. That's what it means. And let's face it, there are some of these crimes, especially when they put in a gag order, we're not getting information. Oh, by the way, Charlie Kirk's shooter or alleged shooter, gag order. So get ready. The conspiracy theories are going to be wacko bazoonga. It's going to be nuts, okay? So just warning you, gag effect in order. They actually held a 2-hour secret Gestapo hearing. No, I'm not going to say Gestapo. Well, I did say it, but I didn't mean it. 2 hours. They made every single person leave the courtroom, including Tyler Robinson's mom and dad. The only people in the room were the court reporter, the judge, Tyler Robinson, and then the prosecutor and defense attorney. Nobody else. That makes me nervous, right? I think they're terrified of another Jack Ruby Oswald problem. I think they believe that someone wants to silence Tyler Robinson. So we'll see how it continues to unfold. But transparency is the only way forward. And KJ Mack, I'm with you, girl. You start closing down courtrooms, gag orders. This internet is going to be on fire. It is making up things that have no basis in reality, but it'll entertain a lot of people. I still can't believe that that Candace Owen was totally right about Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte. I can't even believe it. When she started talking about it, I was like, this is such nonsense. This is so crazy. What? A tiny little town where? The French Alps? Huh? And turns out she's right. I don't know who works for her, but she's right. I'm a trauma therapist. We make dark jokes amongst ourselves sometimes, mostly out of anger at the situation. We don't make those to our clients or publicly. Absolutely, Mabel, 100%. Remember when Mommy Ramblings blog manipulated and traumatized the mother of the 5 Jones children with lies and manipulation to try and keep her in her channel and silence anyone covering it she only wanted the mother of these 5 murdered children to only be in Mommy Ramblings channel. And that was when she said that I called the prosecutor, it's in Florida, I think it was in Florida, wasn't it? And told them that she was on Mommy Ramblings channel. I was horrified. I was like, what? Huh? I did what? I was horrified. Like I was digging out phone bills. Look, see, I wasn't on the phone. Freaked me out. Yeah. So people will lie. That is true. But I didn't call the cops. I didn't start calling cops and freaking out and crying and threatening people. That didn't happen. I was just like, wow, she is so crazy. Okay. All right. I'm glad I'm seeing Babs up there. Trying to keep churning out the plagiarized scripts, pretending they didn't do nothing wrong. A whole other level. Absolutely corruption. It was those were, man, corruption. Those were some crazy times. Crazy times. So glad that is over. My God, that was a nightmare. A lot of victims' families sure go through an anger phase, and we saw that in the Goncalves family. I don't judge them for it because it's a natural and healthy emotion and part of healing. Look, the reality is, and if you know, and if you don't know, you don't know. But when you consider the very difficult process of grief, then without a doubt, anger is a huge part of grief. It's natural. It's gonna happen. And it happens big. Okay? So it is very painful. It is very big. The denial is a part of the grief process. Denial being just like your defense mechanism, kind of creating like a false reality. Anger is when the reality of the situation has hit and now you realize I don't have a choice in this. It's unfair. Why did you have to, choose my family member to be hurt? Like, why did this happen? The third stage is bargaining. And it's sort of a thing you do like in your mind, and you're kind of like trying to like make a deal with God. Well, if only I had done this, or what if this had happened? And it doesn't matter how long you engage in bargaining. The reality is you can't change reality. You can't go backwards. You don't get a do-over. And so, depression, a sense of hopelessness, that takes over. And that type of depression with grief is really marked by a sense of emptiness, because you realize I have no control here. I'm experiencing this terrible, awful feeling and process, and it didn't happen from any devices of mine, and I can't make it stop. And that's I just now need to just lay down and numb out and leave me alone. You'll also see like the plane of lethal flatness that can happen as part of depression, where the person just becomes very sedentary. They can't get out of bed. They don't eat. They don't watch TV. They just try to just sort of sleep, or they stay in this sort of nether region of kind of asleep, kind of awake, no showers, no makeup. They're just kind of numb, right? They're not particularly sad. They're not particularly angry. They're just nothing. They're just trying to disappear. And then finally, as you begin to come to terms with the new reality, then a sense of acceptance. And health and healing comes from radical acceptance. But here's the problem. Most models present the stages of grief, 5 stages if you're using Kubler-Ross. Most present it like a stairwise progression. Like first there's denial, then there's anger, then there's bargaining. That's wrong, 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 wrong. The stages of grief need to be presented like numbers on the face of a clock, right? That they're in a circular pattern, and that the person in grief is bouncing from category to category. That they're not necessarily stages of grief, they're categories of grief. And that way you may leave denial and pop over into acceptance, and then from acceptance go into anger, from anger go into depression. But the healing is in that chaotic kind of pinball machine environment. That each time you revisit one of the categories, it tends to be less intense, and you tend to stay there a smaller amount of time than you were there previously, right? So grief is not the act of depression and sadness. Grief is incredibly energetic and chaotic. There's all the emotions, and they're happening in a way that seem frenetic. So a big part of helping people get through grief is teaching them what it is going to be like, what they're going to be experiencing in the coming days, and then making sure they're protected as they grow through this very critical and healthy process. They need support. They need friends there to take care of them, to protect them from prying eyes as they bounce from category to category, right? And it is not up to me and you to make a decision whether the way they're feeling on any given day is okay. We don't get to do that. It's their process. Their brain is doing what it has to do to find healing. What's our role? Stand back and protect them from prying eyes. Let them grieve in peace. Make sure everything's safe. You don't go out there and tell people what they're doing when they're grieving. It's not. Do you want people going out there telling what you're doing when you're going through childbirth? No. Okay, so leave people alone when they're in grief. They need their privacy, and don't judge them. It's none of your damn business what they have to do as they are trying to heal. Yeah, she was awful, Cinnamon. It was terrible. It was terrible. Okay, I don't want to get caught up in all that. Ooh. Losing my dad to a violent act would be a whole other ballgame. Oh, man, I'm so sorry that happened to you guys. All the influencers being bought by different governments, and they're loyal. There's so many, and they rub the parties in our face. So sorry. Feel like we need Crush's Law to protect future victims, right? I unfriended my best friend in my grief because her advice was awful and harmful. I'm great now. Everyone probably thinks I'm a drunk. There is usually a healthy amount of alcohol involved during the process of grief. I wouldn't call myself a drunk. All right. Okay, folks. We have been here quite a long time, haven't we? I wanted to just open up this conversation. I think we've seen so much of, thank you, Bert and Ernie. I appreciate that. You guys are famous. Did you know that? Ooh, now I'm going to be like Lauren. I'm going to be name dropping. Well, Bert and Ernie come to my channel. So there. Okay. I hope you subscribe, Bert and Ernie. So, oh, wait a minute, Patrick. One of the worst parts was realizing the people I thought were my friends and support system were not. They didn't want to know what I had gone through. They were just superficial people. So sorry you experienced that. So sorry. I am here for berries. Yeah, well, berries behind bars. Well, I kind of know. Okay, I have it on firm authority. Barry the bird is behind bars right now as we speak. And he has been ever since I rescued him. He's behind bars. He's with his lovely bride, Fancy, behind bars. Okay. So all is well in the world of Barry behind bars. Now, Barry Morphew, he should be behind bars, but the judge chickened out, or the city was having a budget crisis, and he's able to get out, but he's got new jewelry on his ankle. And I don't know if he's working. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. All I know is he did post bail, and he's got a daughter who owns rental property near where he is. And that's all I know. So we'll see what happens. But I hope that you will subscribe, Bert and Ernie. So when we start Barry's case, you will be here for that. Lock my door. There you go. All right. Let's see. So we need to have this conversation. We need to be careful about how we are talking about and covering the cases that we bring onto our channel. I stay away from talking about cases on this channel having to do with children for the most part, because I think there needs to be a very, 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 very clear line between, what I talk about online and my real life. So maybe, that goes right along with some of what I've said tonight about if you're going to cover one of these cases on your channel, maybe you should resist the urge for befriending these families. Maybe it's more ethical to protect them and give them privacy rather than trying to, trick them into a friendship so then they reveal more. Don't do that. It's not okay, in my opinion. All right. I would be interested to know what Gigi's opinion is on that idea. That if you cover a case, maybe it's not okay to befriend that family. I'd be interested to know. We're speaking about boundaries. Absolutely. Boundaries are important. They matter. We should consider that. All right. And I love the idea of Crush's Law. And yeah, the Cat Ballou, this whole thing, it makes it hard to figure out if you're going to do true crime or not. It takes, I don't know how to do it and be respectful. I'm thinking on this. So, what crime did this bird commit? Let me tell you a story, Mabel. Okay, it's a 100% true story. There were some people that were witnesses to it. Okay. One day, I walked outside on my balcony. We're right directly on the ocean, so we get tons of like really strong wind for the most part. This day, sun was shining, it was very beautiful, but the wind was really, really pretty strong. And I noticed this little blue bird hanging on to this butterfly bush, and it was whipping around. I mean, it was blowing like nobody's business. And this little bird was just hanging on. You could tell he was in distress, right? He was really scared. Well, the next thing I know, I'm standing there and looking out over the beautiful ocean, and this bird comes like right up to my face. He's flapping his wings and he's looking at me like, please, helpful, sweet, kind woman, please save me. And he landed on my chest, on my shirt, right? He grabbed a hold of my collar on my shirt. And I was like, what? Does a bird have diabetes? What can a bird, not diabetes, rabies. Does a bird have rabies? Can a bird even get rabies? Like, I'm asking myself all these questions because here's this bird landing on me when birds run away from people, right? Well, I shoot him because I thought, okay, he's a crazy bird. Like, there's something wrong with him. And I shoot him. And he flew away, and then he comes back around. He tries to land on me again. And I was like, whoa, what is going on here? And the next thing I know, my Australian Shepherd Drover is standing there with me. And this bird lands right on Drover's back. And Drover looks at me like, Mom, there's a bird on my back. Is that okay? And I said, no, Hawk, no, I did not shoot him. I rescued him. I didn't shoot him. So the bird lands on my dog. And so then I said, okay, this bird, oh, no, shoo fly, get away. Not like shoot, kapow, not that. So I looked at the bird on Drover and I said, okay, this is a pet, right? This bird obviously is not afraid of dogs. Like, something is up with this little bird. And so I got a shoebox and said, okay, bird. And the bird like jumped in the shoebox. Bird had all of that wind that he wanted. Okay. He's done. He's finished. He was ready to go inside. Hey, someone put me behind bars, please. So my husband and my son, I said, look, there's a bird. He landed on me and then he landed on Drover. What are we going to do? You need to go get a bird cage. So he's a full grown bird. And so my husband and my son went up to PetSmart. They bought a bird cage. They bought some parakeet seed, and they come back. And once they get back, I bring the bird, the box, the shoebox. I bring the bird into the house, and I'm telling you guys this. When I opened that shoebox, that bird ran head first into that cage. That bird didn't want to go anywhere. He did not want his freedom. He's done. He said, put me in that cage, put me behind bars, throw away the key. I'll never escape again, I promise. Will you be my new mommy? Okay, that's everything in a moment, all right? And I was like, look at him. He wants to be here. So we all just stood around and looked at the stupid bird, and we thought, well, what are we going to do? And here, this part is sad, okay? He dove into that food like up to his wings, his head. You couldn't see his head. He went face down into the container of bird seed, eating and eating and eating. So he was starved. He was absolutely starving. So then I spent, 2 months maybe putting pictures of the bird and in the newspaper. I was going through all the newspapers looking to see if somebody missed a bird. I mean, you could tell he's a pet, right? I called this bird rescue, like bird foster place kind of thing. And, no birds, no birds. Well, then one day, I believe it was on Facebook, I posted the bird and I get a message from this lady. And she said, I had 2 parakeets. The one that went missing was my son's. She had like a 7-year-old son. And she said he went missing from College Station, not College Station, where the Army base is, Killeen. He went missing from Killeen, Texas, and it was a couple week or so, since then. And I sent her back a message and I said, oh, I doubt this is your bird because I am all the way down in Galveston. I don't think a parakeet could go that far. Like, I don't think so. And so she sent me close-up pictures of his markings, like on his neck, like the dark blue markings around the bottom of the face. And it was her bird. And I was like, wow, this is her bird. How did that bird get all the way here? And so, I sent her back. I said, I think it's your bird. And I sent her close-up pictures of Barry. And she said that they had already gotten another bird, and they had it. And so I just kept him. And so when all that happened, we found out we believe that's the bird. Of course, you could always be wrong, but I believe it was. As soon as it all kind of came out and I was like, well, I guess we're going to keep him. I felt sorry for the damn bird. Yeah, I know I'm stupid. Okay. I'm stupid. I felt sorry for the bird. And so I said, well, let me see what birds need to be happy birds. Because I don't know anything about birds. I know a lot about horses, know a lot about dogs and cats. I know nothing about birds. And so when I got to like researching parakeets, it said, if you want to know if your parakeet is lonely, because parakeets are like herd animals, right? If you want to know if your parakeet is lonely, you should play parakeets singing, like recorded videos of parakeets singing. And if your bird starts talking, then you'll know your bird is lonely. So I did that. I turned on a video of these birds, these parakeets all singing, and Barry went bananas. He went crazy. He was whistling, he was squawking and hollering. And I was like, oh shit, he's lonely. What am I gonna do? So without my husband knowing, this was the moment of marital infidelity. Okay. I went to PetSmart and I bought another parakeet to be the companion of Barry behind bars. And that's how we ended up with Fancy. But we had a wedding and everything. Do y'all remember that? We did a wedding so that it would be like a legitimate marriage. And we can't have anybody living in sin. All right, let me see if I can find the wedding. It's been such a long time. Let me see. I don't even remember. I think I called it the nuptials or commencement. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. No, that wasn't nuptials. Commencement. No. Barry. Behind. No. Fancy. I think I found it. I think I found the wedding video, guys. Hold on, let me make sure this is it. This is so exciting. Hold on. No, that's not the wedding. I've got one where I've got a music video. I wonder how I can find it. Okay, well, I'll just show you real quick who Barry is. Barry and Fancy. But I did make a music video of the nuptials. Y'all remember that? Another bride, another June, another honeymoon. So there's Barry and Fancy. Oh Lord, let's don't listen to that. No, God help us. There they are. Okay, I'm gonna have to find the music video because the music video turned out super cute. I liked it a lot. Let's see, videos. Another bride, another June, another Sunday. So make me Barry gets girlfriend. I thought it was Barry gets married. Maybe that's it. Barry gets hitched. Was March. Maybe I deleted it. I find that hard to believe that I would have deleted it though, because I thought it was super cute. Barry. Let's see if this one's. No, this isn't it. This is me jamming out in the car. No, I don't know. I'll look for it, y'all. I can't find it. And I know y'all are sick of waiting on me. Anyway, there's Barry and Fancy right there. But I made a video of a wedding. It's so cute. I just got to find it. I'm not sure what I did with it. So, let's see. Let me thank Shannon, new member. Shannon, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And look at Bling. Good heavens, Bling. You're amazing. Look at my good friend. She is a great Texan. Gifted 5 allegedly innocent memberships. Thank you, Bling. I appreciate you. She has been a member for 19 months. And she said, I think all 3 of them need a welfare check or something. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. What about a bishop or stake president? No, not over a cop. Insane. Thank you for your super chat. That will be going to the diaper fund. We are having a diaper fund for the twins and the toddlers still in diapers. And finally, I wish they would go on YouTube and just apologize for everything that they said. Own it all. And you want to know something, Chicken Head? That is the way to do it. Full transparency, authenticity, and honesty. That's the only way to clean this mess up. It's the only way. So, all right. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much to you guys contributing to the diaper fund. I am very, very grateful. And I'm going to find that silly video of the wedding, the bird wedding, and I'll post it. Okay. So that you can see it. It's funny. Yeah, named him Barry Behind Bars. Barry behind bars. All right, everybody. You guys have a great, great evening. And let's go out with a happy, upbeat song just because it's Saturday night, right? See y'all later. Bye.
Woke up at dawn with the pelicans in flight. Coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles, brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand, just honest days in this promised land. God gives rainbow horizons to those in this happy lane. Diamonds dancing on the waves, back sparkling again. Honest living, a pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. The rainbow horizons calling to me. Living each moment, giving truth from the heart. No deceptions woven, no false starts. It goes like a front porch swaying in the ocean breeze. Watching the sunset fade away with pink and blue ease. Teach the young.
Okay, so Barry got married, and there she is, and her name is Fancy.
goes quiet and the stars shine bright. I thank the Lord for this humble light, for the flag that waves and the grace from above, filling our hearts with endless love. No riches compared to the peace we found in the time